with the Tuesday, July 22nd edition of the CBC Evening News. This story, Barbados has recorded 7 cases of chikungunya so far. The Ministry of Health is reporting that the first case of the virus was in a Barbadian with no known travel history. It says the other 6 cases confirmed so far have all been imported into the island. In its effort to stem the spread, the ministry is continuing its surveillance and public education programs, as well as its fogging program, especially in areas with a high presence of adult mosquitoes. It has also called on residents to prevent mosquito breeding, including getting rid of debris and stagnant water on their premises, especially during the rainy season. Since the first confirmed case in the Caribbean last December, the chikungunya virus, transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito and the Aedes albopictus mosquito, has been detected in 25 Caribbean territories. Some symptoms are similar to dengue fever and include sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, and muscle pain. However, the stiffness and severe joint pain experienced, especially in the wrists, knuckles, or ankles, is more often associated with chikungunya. As Barbados struggles to restore economic growth, there's a call for a major improvement in productivity in both the public and private sectors. It's come from Chairman of the National Productivity Council, Dr. Akintolove Corbin. He made the comment during the official launch of the Council's Youth Summer Program for 16 to 25-year-olds. It is being held at the Council's Baobab Towers, Warren's headquarters, under the theme Preparation for the World of Work.
Barbados needs to further improve its productivity in both the private and the public sectors. Barbados needs to be more productive generally. And some of you might have begun to work in recent years or recent months, and others might be on your path to beginning work. Our goal at the Productivity Council is to coordinate what we call a national agenda for enhanced, and I stress enhanced, productivity across Barbados, with a view to contributing to enhanced competitiveness in our dear country Barbados.
Meanwhile, the Council's manager for training and development, Sean Callender, says there's an increased interest in the workshops this year. He says some of the areas to be covered include team building, cover letter and resume writing, work ethics, and mock interview sessions.
This year, the program has been expanded from a half-day workshop to 2-day workshops. 4 workshops are to be conducted, and due to the overwhelming, and I must say overwhelming, response, we had to extend the numbers from 120 to a total of 180 persons approximately. The program seeks to bridge the gap between leaving school and entering the world of work. It provides participants with the knowledge and skills on how to get a job and what is required of them on the job.
As more customers of the Barbados Light and Power Company invest in renewable energy, those who don't may have to dig deeper in their pockets to pay for electricity. That's the conclusion of economist and 2014 De La Rue scholar Adrian Carter, who delivered the feature address at the Central Bank of Barbados' 34th Annual Review Seminar. He points out that the majority of the power company's costs are fixed, and when some of its customers install photovoltaic systems, thereby paying less, the others may eventually have to pay more.
All of the costs now to maintain the electricity network is being placed disproportionately now on those customers who actually remain on the grid. We have vertical inequity because the demographics of the individuals who are actually installing these systems are actually at the higher income level, which means that these higher income level customers are actually avoiding paying their fair share of the cost of maintaining the network. And that cost is being apportioned more to the lower income customers who actually remain on the network and who can't afford these systems.
Mr. Carter believes the situation is untenable and a solution must be found.
Utilities have no choice but to cover its costs by increasing rates to those customers who are purchasing electricity from the system, right? And this will be proportionately felt more on those customers who do not have PV installations, right? These customers facing increased costs would obviously look for alternatives. And the obvious alternative, given the benefits out there and given the tax incentives, is to install a PV system. And they install a PV system, reduction in sales, and price increases. And this can go on and go on and go on. And you can see that this is not sustainable.
Despite internal issues, the Barbados Labour Party remains committed to helping improve the lives of Barbadians. General Secretary Jerome Walcott says the party will work out its problems internally as it has for the last 76 years.
Many of you will be curious, and I will say from time to time there are internal issues in any political party. But the culture of the Barbados Labour Party over these years is that we deal with those matters within our headquarters at 111 Roebuck Street and not necessarily in the newspapers or on the airwaves. Or that is our culture and that is how we operate.
Mr. Walcott was speaking at a press conference at the opposition's office in Parliament. He says the BLP is still pushing for the municipal solid waste tax to be repealed despite the recent changes made by government. He says this is the aim of the walk planned for midday this Thursday and to be led by party leader Mia Motley.
We think that too many people, too many hotels, businesses, churches, civil society organizations, sporting clubs simply cannot afford to pay this tax and the way that this is done. And we really believe that the government needs to go back to the drawing board and to look at this and recognize, we take the point that they have made some changes, and this is some significance because just prior to the changes being announced last week, we were told that nothing could be done, that it would be reviewed after a year, etc. But we've seen that with initial pressure that the government is prepared to make some changes.
Think road safety this crop over. That's the message the Barbados Road Safety Association is sending out to motorists and pedestrians as the season heats up. Public Relations Officer Richard Cox is appealing to partygoers not to drink and drive and to designate a safe driver.
We know that the festival, there's plenty of alcohol around festival time being consumed, and we dearly beg all those drivers who know that they will be drinking to take along a friend who does not drink or take a taxi. Pedestrians, remember, you have got a part to play.
And with 9 road fatalities recorded so far for 2014, Mr. Cox is hoping there will be a decline in overall figures. Barbados lone calypso queen Rita is promising fans a good performance at the upcoming 40th Monarchs in Concert show at the National Stadium. Rita arrived in Barbados at the Grantley Adams International Airport this afternoon, shortly after 1 o'clock. She revealed this will be her first performance since her bittersweet victory some 2 decades ago.
I haven't performed a song since 1988. Never. So that's what I'm saying. I was singing the lyrics in my mind on the plane so that I don't forget it. That would be another story. Headline news, you know. Yeah.
Well, despite being absent from the local calypso scene for a while, the lone female monarch says she still loves the art form.
I was singing since I was 17, so it's like when you go someplace, you hear a band perform or you see people on stage, you want to do it too. You know, so that's embedded in me, you know. That's it.
There is more news up ahead, but first we want to hear from you on the question, do you believe Barbados' private sector is more productive than its public sector? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the answer for you at the end of the news.
Let's go, Gollop, let's go. Friday night 25th coming up soon. Just soon. Move on here, let's go. Keep moving. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Move it!
Yeah, man. Man, it's only for one night, man.
Yes, one night, but it's a special night, a big night.
Move it, man.
You understand what we got there?
I know.
We got the best of the best. We talking about all the champions all the years, 40 years of champions. We talking about all those who won the pickety crop, who won the soccer monarch, the street soccer, and Road March. We talking Queen Rita's coming home for this one. Gollop. We talking about Alison Huntington, and all those people. Also, we got Mikey Gabby, we got Rick Bassett, we got Rasta, we got Edwin Newell and Rick. All those people are going to be there.
Wait. What makes me hosting again?
Listen, it's the NCF taking us down memory lane with the Voice of Barbados 40th anniversary Monarch Sing concert. And it's going to be right here at the National Stadium, 8 p.m. sharp, Friday night, the 25th, Patrick. I'm talking about Powered by Flow.
Oh, you, that's all real good, yeah. I think I get only watch, man. Watching.
This is the watch you got to deal with. Ready? Let's go, Gollop. Let's go. Let's not roll the 40 time here. Let's go. Let's go. What the hell is that, Gollop? Let's go. I said push up, not push away. What the hell is that? Oh my God, oh Lord.
Pride and unity, every year I swear it gets sweeter. Come for over.
Be storm ready. Have battery-powered lights or lanterns available in case of a power outage. These are safer to use for emergency lighting than candles and lamps. This tip is brought to you with the compliments of the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited.
Barbados Senior Veterinary Officer will now have new powers through the amended Animals, Disease and Importation Bill 2014. Minister of Agriculture, Dr. David Estwick, provided some insight into the new role of the senior official during the first reading of the bill in the House of Assembly.
The Senior Veterinary Officer now has the authority via, after this action, to be able to ensure that there are certain risk analyses that are carried out in every single country that we now import live animals from, or animal parts in any form from, and so on.
Dr. Estwick acknowledged the current bill dates back to the 1960s, but believes amendments to the regulations will bring Barbados in line with international standards.
Those regulations are regulations designed to upgrade Barbados' capacity to protect animal health in the country, to protect human health in the country, and as a result, the Senior Veterinary Officer is now being empowered to apply modern technological measures.
Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Richard Seeley, says the island's tourism sector, along with other key sectors, stand to benefit from the updated legislation.
It is a serious effort to, in many ways, modernize something that is doing a lot for Barbados, and I sincerely hope that those persons who are involved in these activities will seize the opportunities and will be able to, in essence, take our offerings in these particular areas to another level.
St. Michael West Central MP James Paul says amendments to the legislation are important as Barbados must ensure its population is safe. Mr. Paul voiced concern about the cost for local entities to meet some of the international standards.
I wonder sometimes whether or not the necessary level of scrutiny in terms of the particular standards to see whether or not it is reasonable or unreasonable. Because very often we seem to accept these things as saying, okay, this is the gospel. But sometimes do we actually sit down and say, is this particular standard that's being put into place, is it reasonable? Is it one that can actually guarantee to the consumer of the food any necessary level of assurance that it is safe? As a matter of fact, the thing is, what we have to ask is whether or not it is actually necessary.
And opposition St. George North MP Glenn Clark rose in support of the bill, saying the Barbados Labour Party does not oppose the amendments. He is, however, concerned at the length of time it took to bring the amendments and wants clarity on some issues. Mr. Clark is also concerned about the costs and is telling government the public needs to be aware of the changes.
The minister is right that these changes are necessary in order for not only for trade, but also to help us along a modern path. But you need to get the public on your side. You need to get that cultural shift, which will take some time.
That bill was later passed.